Okay, so let's go ahead. So thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to speak in the MageCONF. For me, last year was totally a pleasure to be there, and it's a pity that we cannot see each other in a physical way, but I think that this initiative and all the initiatives of the Magento Association trying to avoid this situation with virtual events are totally a blast. So thank you very much, first of all, to Magento Association and especially to Atwix to invite me and letting us, drop a little bit of our work that we are doing right now in our company. So we want to talk today about the analytics integration. We have been working hard, especially a couple of the guys of the team that are involved in this project, trying to solve the problem about integrating any analytics platform to Magento, okay, to all the things that are happening in the front end and in the back end. I want to thank and a thumbs up to Adrian, that was the one that was developing this bunch of extensions and the toolkit that we're going to present today. He's the brain that made this project happen, so thank you to Adrian. And this is myself. I had to put this slide to tell you that where I am, and also I want to say special thanks before beginning to David Slater, that was the one that was explaining me with a lot of patience about what we did, because I knew the concept about what's behind it, but when I saw that what we did was totally my mind was overrun, hot, almost explode. So he was, giving me the guidance about what we did, because it was totally too far to me. Okay, so I will try to explain you in a way that also technical and non-technical people will understand what we do in this case. Also, I want to say hello and thank you to all the team and Interactive 4. This is a picture from the last Meet Magento Spain, and I hope we can make another event pretty soon and also celebrate our 10-year anniversary that I think that we made this day, 16th of September, last September. So hopefully we will do it and we will be there again. Okay, so let's go. So always when you face anything, you have a motivation, and the motivation to do something in this case was the problem that we're facing when we, as Magento partners, we face an integration between Magento and analytics. You know, how we grab all this data, all these events in the front page, and we push them to the analytics. The problem is that we have many different customers across the company, different ways of facing this problem, and all of them, they have their own SEO and analytics companies that they want things in a different way. So they want to track their events, the data, or the content in a particular way, so it's making us dropping so much work, so much effort doing stuff that is specifically done for them, and it's so difficult for us at the end, to maintain or even change things across different projects. It requires a lot of coding to track events. It's something that you need to go every single page with every single scenario in order to define what is needed to collect all the data and unpack them, and then to push it to the data layer that is needed. And it's repeating a lot of work all the time. We did this integration firstly for Adobe Analytics, that it's connected with through Adobe Launch, but we have the connector as well in the pipeline for Google Analytics as well. So as a recap, no one standard integration can fit all the cases. There is a lot of custom things that you need to do across all your clients or your projects. So we have also big limitations of the third-party extensions that are changing stuff in the front end, and we need to grab data in different ways. And also, we cannot cover everything, with the specific flows, events, and the metric or any data. So we need to duplicate effort for each project. So at the end as well, we face normal problems about scripts that run only when all the page is finished, the DOM is ready, and we all the time are facing problems about potential data loss. So we create a bunch of extensions in a pack that it's providing a toolkit for Magento developers to create their own integrations to any analytics platform. It's, as a concept, it's an admin-driven configuration. So you go through the admin panel of Magento, you can enter there. And the way that we wanted to, we create a kind of the ability to create your markup language or elements or tags to identify HTML's elements and grouping them and nesting them into a thing that we call roles. Okay, let's say we will see an example later on, like a product list or the product link or a price or any single thing that you want to point as a label in the HTML elements. So we can also define data that is gonna be pushed over those roles to the data layer, and also we define front-end and back-end events, and we trigger them, and we're linking them using JavaScript handlers and these components. So the idea is that to provide something that is new, is clean, and trying to do it as standard as possible in order to not duplicate work across different projects. So you will see later on that every single section has an import and export. So whatever you define in one project, you can export, and then you can plug in directly in another project that you can, freshly start to another company or another client or merchants. Also, we could define event handlers and other JavaScript components without the need for custom blocks and layout changes. We will try to avoid as much as possible to open the code and make any commit to make any changes or grab any data, extra data from the page to push to the analytics. So, a little bit more technical about it. It's a suite of Magento 2 extensions for building complex integrations. It covers Adobe and Google Analytics. It's highly flexible, and it's using the admin panel all the time, and it's to define HTML elements to track, to also grab all the information that those elements have in the page. We use extensible with JavaScript. We are extensible with JavaScript components, and there is no need for custom layout changes and blocks. So this is more or less how is the structure of the toolkit. We have a storefront module. You will see in a sample in a couple of slides. We have an analytics module that grab all the information and track the events, and we have the connection modules that we have already in the repository, the Adobe Launch module. That is also nice to see. And in the pipeline, as I say, we will have the Google Analytics module, but I mean, it can be extensible for anything that you can just track in the page and then push this information, I don't know, maybe for making any personalization service with a third-party software or whatsoever is needed, okay? So regarding the storefront modules, we have the ability to label the data, to grab them in, to grab all the data from these tags that we call roles, okay, and push this information to the analytics. And I think that I'm gonna go directly to the. I'm going to go directly to the test, okay, to the sample. This way you will see, okay, because I think that we are repeating a little bit what it's included, okay? I want to go a little bit fast in here. I will share my screen, my slides in after the presentation, so you can check exactly what it's included in the toolkit. Okay, so how it works. So what we do, we define roles and data. So we will go through all the elements that the storefront has, you know, with a common purpose. We are going to put some markup on it to define that different parts that you can have in the storefront, okay? we can do it very easily. You will see in the video. We can customize all those rows, all those elements very easily, and grab them and compile them, and also nesting them in a different way. Okay, and also to provide a starting point, the toolkit has a predefined roles already pre-installed. The idea is also, to define those roles, and we can also pack them and export to another project, and also import if it's needed in different projects that we have across all the company. So this is also, saving time for doing all these repetitive things that we want to do. Also, it's important to, for example, if you are running a project and you have different environments, you have the dev environment, the staging environment, and you have production environment. Whatever you define in the dev environment and it's working, you can port and pack and export and then import in the staging and so on in the production environment. Also, we can inject and fix the dynamic data that those elements have, for example, in order to grab this information and push it to the analytics. So let's take a look to the video. Okay. I don't know if like this is much more better. So this is part of the extension, okay? So here is in the place that we can, every single part of the extension has an import and export, you see, so we can export or import CSV files with all the configurations. And here's where we can go through all the elements that the front end has. We can define them, or we can find them from using the CCS class or the element defined, okay? And at the end, we name them in a specific mode. In this case, you will see the product list and the product item, and is the thing that we're gonna present as. Yeah, maybe it's like this. I'm gonna go to the next video. So in this video, you will see the front end. It's a Luma, totally standard Luma configuration and front end by default. And as you can see, we are inspecting the elements, okay? And you'll see that we populate the roles in the front end in order to identify it in our analytics extension. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Okay, so now we're gonna grab the data that those roles have. We can define the data that we want to grab. Again, we can import or export all these configurations. So in this case, we're gonna show you the example about which is the position that this list item has in the product list. Okay, we can do more, we can do whatever we want, we can just pack them and transport all of them to the next project that we have or another environment of the same project if it's needed. So again, in the front end, you will see that different list elements, the different positions, and all of them, the information is populated in the information that the browser is rendering. Exactly the same as the product ID, as you see, 32, 332, exactly. Whatever we need, we can track, we can label it, and we can grab the information and populate in the HTML that we push to the browser. So after that, we define events and the data layer and the handler. So the idea is to create naming events that can push this information to the analytics. Again, we can declare and name those events and import or export across all the environments of the project, or port it to another project that we are doing for another customer. So as you can see, we can import and export again. We define the handler, okay, all the trackable events. So we map them. We can also have additional JSON data that we want to push to this GS component. We can add. And here you can see that we can trigger the events. In this case, the event it's a mouse over. Okay, so we're gonna make the desktop with this. We can add and we can delete whatever we want. Okay. Okay, so this way we can link our roles, our name, emails, and handler to HTML events, like a click. As you see in the configuration in the admin panel, touch, scroll in the viewport, we have all the different type of events and handlers that you can define in a browser in order to track them. For example, I don't know, like a mouse over, for example. Okay, here you will see that how we grab the information when we mouse over an element in the front end, a different one of them, and we can grab the information regarding the context that each product has as well. Okay, as we defined it in the admin panel. So the main idea behind that is that you can customize and you can declare whatever you want in order to place in the HTML, in order to interpret it, and also collect all the data that is needed and pack them and build your own data layer to push to the analytics. Also, we can use this to hook up backend events. We didn't focus too much in this part of the toolkit, but the idea is that also we can track observer events and other things that are happening in the backend, okay, that are relevant for being, you know, like push it to the analytics as well. And the last part, we just set up everything and configure our GIAs URLs per environment. The extension has, you know, the ability to define in Adobe Launch the data layer specifically that is done for your project, and then you connect and you test and goes. So this is pretty much it. So I don't know if I was too fast, but okay, I wanna really thank you know, Adrian for making this also work. David for making all documentation and help me to understand what's behind this project. Oscar, sure, as well, for making our lives easier every day in the company, and the whole thing that it's made this project a reality, because we grab this information across different projects, and at the end, you know, Enrique, Hector, Albert, Rebecca, mainly, you know, they were there. They put in this a new toolkit at the first time in a first project, you know, and that was totally a challenge for us. Of course, to all the Interactive 14 for giving, you know, the best thing all the days. What are the next steps with this? Okay, so we will publish also not only those slides that I presented to you, we publish the whole documentation on the module and toolkit in a few days. We are just polishing it with some videos that we also, you know, like we were doing for this presentation. And the idea is open source to make it public, you know, by invitation. Let's say not public, in a private mode to all people that really want to contribute and help and make this project bigger and better if it's possible. For us, it's the starting point to integrate any project that we have since let's say last June. And from every single project that we're starting right now, we're using this extension as a base in order to connect to the analytics, any analytics. We began with Adobe, and pretty soon will be the final connector to Google Analytics. So this is it.
Thank you, Ignacio, for this amazing presentation. I think we do have some questions in the chat. So the question we have is around the difference between this connector and GTM. So probably you can speak about that a little bit.
The difference that we faced between mainly between Google Analytics, ETM, and Adobe is that in Adobe Analytics you can define a data layer specific to every project. Okay, so it's given to you. So you need to declare it in the admin panel that we provide. Okay, and you know, the structure is totally different and can be different, and it's different for sure from scratch. From Adobe to Google Analytics. What is the thing behind is that you can have many clients that are connected to Adobe Analytics, and each of them, depending who is the partner that is integrating analytics or providing the service of Adobe, can declare the events, the structure, the totally different. Okay, it's something that you manage in the panel of Adobe. There are many things as well, but mainly this is why, you know, we have different components in order to connect to Google Analytics and Adobe in this case. But can be in the future more connections. You know, I don't know, like a personalization service of the page. Depending on the context that you grab from the page, you can send this information, and then when you click, you grab this information, and then boom, you render, or you can adjust your elements or components that you have in your page to be specific to this session and this user, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
Is this conform? That's a good question, but the new cookie law, we work under the cookie law, let's say, layer of compliant. So we are not using anything else than is used right now in order to push information to the analytics. Okay. So I think, I mean, I'm not a GDPR expert, but logically in my mind, it's like we are not doing anything else that in any analytics integration. We just declare things to be pushed to the front end in order to collect data in a standard way across all the projects that we deliver.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
How long?
The great question.
I think that it took more than 2 months fully, and making it work with the project itself, I think that took another month and a half. Okay, because one thing is make the toolkit, and another thing is make it work practically and smoothly within a project. That it's exactly the thing that is making your extension or whatever project you make a reality. Because when you make it run, you face problems that you don't even think about that you're going to have them. So at the end, you plan, you make it, and then you roll out. And when you roll out, you make the first beta versions that are, you know, at the end, not covering all the requirements that we wanted to do at the first time. Easy questions, please. Easy questions. Okay.
So yeah.
Did you really like it? And that's can I make questions as well, you know, to the audience? This is a okay. Thanks for your support, Alex.
Yeah, anytime. And honestly, that was a great technical presentation, and I'm sure that's the questions that are appropriate to this presentation are very deep, and it is very great that we'll make sure the presentation is available on YouTube, so you can rewatch it and probably get back to Ignacio with some more technical and deep questions. However, we do have one, and we still have time.
Yeah,
but that's not the question.
You're right.
Ignacio,
You're right.
just congrats to you.
Yeah, the idea, Argentine, it's provide also Google Analytics connector. Okay, it's in the pipeline. It's already there, but we want to. You will see as soon as we open the code for the rest. But it's really a good solution. Okay.
Awesome. So I want to thank you all, our audience, and for joining this session. And thank you, Ignacio, for this amazing presentation.